Andy, how we doing today?
Good.
Okay.
Daylight savings, traveling.
Yeah.
Maybe taking an edible for breakfast. A lot of things. We are Gannon. Pop.
There was definitely been a lot of today's football that I felt like I was tripping balls. So I get that. I know that feeling. This game has been pretty solid for those of us who backed the Bengals. Did you play the over here?
A little bit.
Okay.
I was just
Are you
telling
nervous?
Dan, I'm like, I didn't have much on this game, so it's like I'm just gonna chase the steam because I found a 51. I almost screwed over Sam, longtime listener, many time commenter. I was giving him a hard time about he had a good number on the over 23.5 and 24 for the first half, and once it was like 21 points, and
gave him a high five.
I gave him a hard time. I was like, just 6 drives, 6 missed field goals, like it's just gonna be a grind. And then it got spooky. I'm like, shit, now I feel bad because the Bengals were at like the 23-yard line, did not score. That was a punt.
Yeah.
Didn't capitalize on that turnover. Got a little goofy there, but basically any number you had in the first half did get over. That did close 24.5, so good job. Sam, it didn't matter if you won or lost. You got CLV, so you win.
Yeah, right. You can feed your family with that.
Are you almost a little miffed that it was a touchdown, not a field goal? And the people who bit late and got the 24.5 got it too.
That's a good point.
But I'm sitting on a little over 51. I'm not looking to chase that because I guess my big question to you is, what is your opinion of what the Bills offense looked like after that first scoring drive? Josh made a really
Allen
bad
did
throw.
his thing.
That was a really bad
he did
throw.
his thing and had a YOLO-ish ball that was pretty poor and got picked. The Bills offense is wicked one-dimensional tonight, right? Like sometimes it's a little bit lopsided. Tonight it's like, well, the running game is going to give us virtually nothing. So we are going to have to do everything in the passing game. But you kind of look at like the stats we've got so far, and it's really weird. Like it looks pretty even in terms of yards per play. 5.8 for the Bills, 5.9 for the Bengals. Bills do have the one key turnover. Penalty yards favoring Buffalo barely. Or at least I guess penalty yards favoring Cincinnati barely.
All day the refs have had weird moments.
Just weird vibes all day today with the refs.
We tried to run that same third down 4 times in a row.
It's like every crew is trying to outdo themselves with a less deserving roughing the quarterback call, we're going to make the worst one today.
They made him defend that one in the Washington game, and he basically said body weight or whatever.
Body weight is it? That body weight's a thing, right? It was that. But time of possession so far: 21 minutes for the Bengals, only 8 for the Bills, which I think is speaking to the fact that they're so one-dimensional. Like they cannot put together a matriculating drive because they don't have complementary football at all right now. And they came out with like a little bit of an urgency and a lot of nice plays and a lot of nice passing. And as soon as they tried to integrate the running game, it's literally like they're conceding downs. Is that what you're feeling?
Yeah, it went well. And he took a couple sacks. That's the other thing too. There's been some nice pressure up front from
Allen's
Cincinnati.
only gotten sacked once.
Like that. Really? Did the one get washed out? Did the one get wiped off?
Maybe.
I felt like the one really stuck in my head, the one that on 3rd and short there where he just got swallowed up. I guess
only gotten sacked once.
I thought we had at least one other sack, but
Josh Allen.
The pressure has been out there. He's had to roll out a couple times. We had that wasted, he had the wasted 3rd down where he didn't throw it to anybody. There's a penalty anyway. We had the 3rd and 2 where he got sacked for a good chunk of yards there where they had to punt from back in the shadow of the goalpost. But outside of the first drive, they did start running a little. You see that second drive that was a punt. It was a Cook 2 yards, 2nd and 8, incomplete, got the penalty, got your first down. Boo. And then you go, Cook, -1 yard. So then you're in 2nd and long, you throw incomplete, 3rd and long, And that's like I say, you get the pressure, he has to roll out, he throws it deep right to nobody basically. There's a penalty in the way and punt. And then the next drive is the horrible. As soon as he threw that ball, you could tell how short it was compared to, maybe leading the receiver upfield. It's like basically like if this guy turns around, he's probably going to pick it in your head, and just easy. So I don't know. Like, do you trust the Bills to turn things around in the second half here? Because basically, like, Burrow's good right now. They're actually running the ball halfway decent.
Yep. And
even the incompletions, there's a couple like that. That ball right down near the goal line, I really thought that was going to be a touchdown. That was going to be a tough catch. But, did we do the big Lou adjustments in between quarters instead of halves?
Interesting.
Sam is asking.
Well, I mean, like, I don't even know that there's adjustments to make.
No, just sell out and against the pass.
I guess, but at the same time, like, we saw Josh Allen much more involved in the running game in the Tampa Bay game, right? Like, all of a sudden it was like, oh yeah, I remember those plays. Remember when Josh Allen used to just rip off 12 yards for fun? Like those plays were available for him last week. They're available in this game, but they're not electing to use them. My guess is they're trying to protect the shoulder. Does that make sense?
We still don't know like the full status of that. We get injury statuses on it early in the week, and then we say we're fine. And then we see a throw that was clearly short. We see him not running. We haven't had any. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. We haven't had a designed run for him. The scrambles. He seems more.
He's only scrambled once.
Well, I mean, even when he's rolling out because of pressure, he seems more likely to want to toss it downfield than go downfield by himself. So
his only scramble so far was the touchdown run. Actually,
that was nice.
It was nice. I mean, it was a beautiful play.
It's nice too because if you get in, you're not getting hit. Probably.
Yeah. Ooh, PJ Walker's coming back, huh?
I don't have a strong take on.
I think we look under because that's been the way to play Cincinnati games for as long as I can remember. And also, like, I guess if the Bills are one-dimensional and they're trying to protect Josh Allen and they're not willing to, put him in harm's way, like one kind of unsuccessful drive here to start the second half, and you're really putting all those plays away, right?
Yeah, Buffalo.
Like the Dolphins lost. The Dolphins lost today. The Bills know that, right? Yeah. Like some of the urgency of today's contest is a little bit, is fading, right? 14-point deficit combined with the fact that a loss does not take you out of the division. I think if you are unsuccessful early here, I don't think there's an incentive to run Josh Allen 10 times in the second half. And that's kind of what they have to do because Cook ain't getting it today.
Yeah, this total is just sitting above the pregame total. This is essentially 52.5.
Yeah.
Don't hate it.
You have
somebody else in the chat pointed out too. Cincinnati doesn't seem Key Dookie.
The Raiders
Cincinnati
are doing an awful lot of celebrating for this win today, my friends. You guys beat Tommy DeVito. You beat Tommy DeVito, right?
We'll get to them. You do it for the new coach. Like it's for him.
They're just showing the clips, the social media clips, and it's like, oh yeah, let's all smoke cigars and party.
The Colts are like celebrating like a bunch of bad teams.
Jesus Christ! Yeah,
it's hard to win games in the NFL.
A bunch of ass crack teams won today, so
I will never shit on a team for celebrating.
Yeah,
it's hard to win. But yeah, Cincinnati a couple times on 4th and short didn't seem super inclined to be aggressive. So if they're going to have drives ending with punts, just pinning Buffalo back and Buffalo unable to run, maybe we're running under here.
Okay. All right, let's do under 24.5.
This would be So
to snap an 0-8 streak.
I was going to say, so the kickoff return is going back. We do have,
I mean, that's where we're at.
We do have some free
I can't wait a second half. That's saved my life. I'm putting 1/10 of a unit on this.
Yeah, this is not a streak we're proud of.
Dude, it's 25.5 if bookmaker. I mean, that's not a key number, but shit, man. It's gone up. All right, well, I'm going to play
Canadian capper. Well, there was steam on the over before the game, too. All right, we got some Canadian capper plays, so this is what saves me. I go find these.
Canuck Cap is crushing. That's not. I hope I'm not. This isn't the kiss of death. But yeah.
No, we always talk him up, and they always still end up somehow.
Oh, the big guy Bubba. I haven't seen Bubba in forever. How you doing, buddy?
Shakir over 65.5 receiving yards, and Allen over 21.5 rush yards. Those kind of seem like necessita if they want to get back in this game. So
yeah, I should not be disrespectful to the ass crack teams because they are professionals, and this is how they're making their life, and this is physical, rough shit. Like
weren't you ever on a bad team like in high school sports or something?
Sure.
It was like if you won like the last game of the year against another ass crack team, fuck, you were blasting the boombox on the bus back to the school. Like, win's a win. But yeah, like these teams usually get just fucking dummied the next week.
Okay. You ready to go live?
Yeah, I don't have a lot more to say about again, fuck, I don't know what do you want me to do about the refs? Like they're calling a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's a mess. The league is not in a good spot right now. I don't know if you know that.
I don't know what the answer
quality
is.
Of the product
I don't want to litigate.
But it doesn't matter because there's nothing else to do in this world, and so people are using the NFL to distract themselves from the terrible shit. Yeah. All right, let's go live. You ready? I want to talk about today's games. I don't.
Real quick too.
But,
Noops.
Yes.
I've done this like every time there's a fucking game in Europe. I always remember to tail Noops, and then I have the winning, so I'm like, oh, I got to do it again. Noops. We double dipped for Noops again this morning and this afternoon.
Dude, his
I watched
he's up 80
the Bills game
on the year.
I watched the Bills game on the little TV on the back of the headrest on Delta. And it got a little, you know how it gets a little blurry sometimes. The picture isn't always perfect. Had no idea who caught that first touchdown for Kansas City. I couldn't tell. Like it had gone blurry. It could have been anyone. Like I could tell that people had scored. I'm like, I have no idea what happened here. I know who I'd bet. And finally it sorted itself out. Oh, thank God. So very nice. I saved myself some money by not paying for the Wi-Fi. I'm like, if I pay for the Wi-Fi, I'm just going to spend too much time tweeting and I'm going to live bet. I probably would have live bet some overs because, man, those long balls. Let's start with that game. Those long balls.
Well, no, we got to do the welcome.
Okay.
Ready? In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the deep dive. Week 9 is in the books, Andy, and I need the Bengals to hold on and win and cover here to get me into the green today because I took a big fat L in Philly betting dumb boys, and I lost count of the fluky crazy chances and so closes. And I mean, if you were to tell me like, dude, don't bet the Cowboys, they built Jerry World on an Indian burial ground. Okay.
Yeah. What if a bunch of bad stuff happened late in the game on drives where they were doing that?
Oh, geez, that was just full on heartbreak. And I mean, we can like, it's crazy to say this, but like literally, if Dak gets a playoff then there's no false start on 1st and 5 from the 6-yard line with 24 seconds to go, and they score a touchdown. We're literally like, is Dak in the MVP conversation? Like, is Dallas going to be the 1 seed?
I know.
In light of that loss, I'm like, fuck, man, what's wrong with Dak? That was awful. What's wrong with McCarthy? Fire him. This was such a volatile. Did
you see my tweet? So it's just one of those. Yeah. It's one of those tweets you just start typing out. And I was just like mad because Dak had. He looked like the slowest man on earth on that.
The sack was
the sacks late. Yeah. The scramble on 3rd down where I felt like he probably should have scored. The 2-point late penalties, the delay of game, just like not being organized late, throwing to Tolbert on that one. So I was like mad at Dak, and I got like 9 replies. Dak was really good today. Yeah, I mean, is that what you want? Is you want Dak to be really good?
I did see that tweet, and I almost replied that.
Yeah, I'm like, well, but is that what you want? Do you want Dak to be really good?
No, I want him to win that fucking game.
Or do you want him to be good at the end and win that game?
Yes.
Yeah, he went a little Romo there.
He went super Romo.
He went super Romo.
Oh my God.
All that was missing was him holding on a field goal. All right, let's start Sunday morning though. Let's start.
No, let's give me your take on Thursday Night Football. Steelers' worst 5-win team of all time, and are they going to go to the playoffs?
That was another total. They got steamed up to 37, landed on 36.
Unbelievable.
Steelers.
Last play of the game decided the side and the total.
I know
that's entertainment. This is Thursday Night Football for you. We got. By the way, we got cooked on a second half over that very much should have gotten there.
Yeah, that
like there was some real bullshit. Like the George Pickens non-touchdown. What a clown! That guy's a clown. George. That guy is a clown.
Yeah, and that's what makes it hard to grade Kenny sometimes. Although Kenny wasn't great, Levis is good. I think. I think you have a bit of a conversation now, considering where you're at with Tanny. Maybe we just stick with this kid. Let him play out the year. See where we're at.
Without question. No question.
3-5. Like what's the point of bringing Tannehill back and trying to make some run at the 7th seed or something along those lines? So,
dude, isn't it organizational malpractice to bring Tannehill back instead of just developing Levis?
Yeah, I know, but teams do this all the time. They talk themselves into silly things. So I don't know. Yeah, Tennessee probably deserved a little better fate, or at least a better shot. But you can't fight that voodoo. You can't fight that Pittsburgh Steelers voodoo.
Amazing. I guess let's just take a quick sidebar to just say, what a job by Mike freaking Tomlin. I mean, this guy has the 31st best team in the NFL playing at a 5-3 pace.
I think they still have a negative point differential.
I mean, hey, Mike Tomlin is a G, and he deserves some recognition. And I don't care in what form that comes, but Coach of the Year is a fair place to start.
They've been outscored by 30 points in 8 games.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. All right. Well,
not great.
Let's move to this morning in Frankfurt, Germany, where the roof was closed and the flow of the game was bizarre. The first half of the game felt a little tilty in terms of preferential refereeing in favor of Kansas City. And that said, they were the cleaner team. They were the more kind of well-prepared team, which is weird considering that Miami went over earlier. Well, that didn't matter this time. But big win for Kansas City. I was on them. I enjoyed that tremendously. But boy, oh boy, did every moment of the second half feel like that was going to slip away from them. That was going to go through their fingers. There was a couple of really high leverage plays that Kansas City.
Well, there was the one. I mean, it's the one. I hate to ever boil 60 minutes of any sport like down to one play, but like sometimes there's such a high leverage play. And it's just like, that was it. And it was the turnover that was obviously the touchdown that, I mean, it was the game-winning touchdown, I guess, because it ended up being 21-14. And the fact that it wasn't just, it was like a bad turnover at the 30, or like they were going to turn that game.
They were going to get some scores. Yeah. They were going to get a score to end the half, and they were getting the ball first, right?
14-7 game. At 14-7, it's obviously
14-3, 14-7, whatever. Yeah. They were going to score. They were going to get off this.
Even 14-3, obviously very much preferable to 21-0. And then Kansas City. I don't know if it was the reffing was a little sus, and the whole game it felt like it switched sides randomly. Like that wasn't a very good call. That very much helped the team out. But that was It felt dicey at the end though, and I guess I want to give Miami some credit because. We were kind of on a train where we said, can Miami beat good teams? Can Miami come back from being down against good teams? They did it once really, and it was against a shit team in Carolina. Yeah. But I was impressed.
Ready? Here's what I have in my notes. Rate these takes. You ready?
Yes.
Chris Jones is an idiot. Number 2, Matt Nagy is terrible at second half adjustments. And then third note, Tua is a system quarterback. It felt like when the when the going got tough, Tua did not have an ability to really read and respond to the play that needed to be made. He was just sort of doing what McDaniels was telling him. That was kind of my impression of a lot of the second half of that game, and really those last 2 drives where a touchdown ties it. And credit to the Chiefs secondary. They played amazingly well against the best wide receiving core in football, probably.
I was a little worried that Waddle injury was going to be worse than it was. He ended up coming back in, so that turned out fine. I don't think there really were many other injuries. I did mention this last week too on the preview show when we went over this game. I said I'm interested in Miami, not in this game, but long term. They did get, Williams played, Armstead played. They had their all offensive line. The secondary keeps getting healthier. That defense looked pretty good in the second half. I mean, you're right. I do want to give Nagy some,
There was a second down run at one point, 2nd and 10, I want to say, where they handed it off to LaMichael Pirine, and he got 1 yard. And it was like, what'd you expect? What are we doing here? Why did we do this? Yeah. What was the plan? The next play, I believe, was the deep pass attempt to Valdez-Scantling, which was a good concept, but it was well covered. And I think the takeaway,
I thought he was going to have it.
I thought he was too, but I guess I got to give the Dolphins defense a little bit of credit. Like, they did a really nice job in coverage here, better than I thought they were going to be able to do. That's a unit that's on the come up, but Tua is he's not the guy.
So
he should not be.
We mentioned this, and I said this, and I don't know if I could put too fine a point on this, but Tua is bad against pressure.
Yeah.
He's always been, but McDaniel is a good coach, and they have the right pieces for this. And anybody who's watched any Miami games has seen how much movement, how much pre-snap movement, and shuffling around they do. It gets guys open right away as defenses have to adjust right before the snap.
Mm-hmm.
And you have all these easy passes to make, and you're doing them within like a second and a half of the snap. So if you have a quarterback who's just maybe you're convinced is never going to get better against pressure, just design plays where there's no pressure because the ball's out so fast. And you saw that when he had to hold on to the ball, and it wasn't even like good pressure. It was just, somebody's finally breaking through on the edge, and he needs to either slide up or move out and run some sort of bootleg. The struggles were real, and that was a bit of an issue. So against good defenses where they're not getting that stuff, the easy stuff right off the bat, he's not able to snap these balls, a second, 2 seconds after it's snapped, he's going to have a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
So,
and
I don't know.
I will
it's still
say,
a really good team, though. And if this defense continues to improve, it's going to be more than
no. Watch this space
offense
for Dolphins defense getting a better rating. I think that's very fair. You want to guess who the number 1 receiver was for the Chiefs today? It was Noah Gray. He caught 3 balls for 34 yards in Andy, and he was the number 1 receiver for the winning Kansas City Chiefs. Number 2 was Sky Moore. Number 3 was Jerick McKinnon. Number 4 was Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
It was Sky because he had the one longer ball.
Number 5 was 1 catch for 18-yard Kadarius Toney. Number 6 was Rashee Rice. Number 7 was Justin Watson, who got 5 targets for some dumb reason. I lost count, but Travis Kelce had 3 catches for 14 yards on 4 targets. 0 clue why he wasn't in the game plan.
I don't know if they overthought it. Okay, we can trick them.
Yeah,
we can trick them. They're gonna put so many resources towards Kelce. We can outmaneuver them.
You wanna if Matt Nagy is listening, you want a tip? Take the Justin Watson targets, give him to Rashee Rice. He's got a pulse. That guy's got a pulse. Find ways to get the ball in Rashee Rice's hands. He's your best wide receiver outside of Travis
Multiple
Kelce.
comments about no Taylor Swift becoming an issue.
Yes, it is becoming an issue.
It is starting.
All right, let's move on to the day games unless you have any other final thoughts. Closing thoughts? No. Chiefs and Dolphins go on by. Nothing to think about for them this week, right? Yeah, we get another game in Frankfurt, though, next week. Actually, you know what? One final thought. You ready, Andy?
Yes.
Thank you to Mr. Roger Goodell for putting an international game on daylight savings day.
I know. I had to think about it a little. I'm like, oh no, I get an
you.
extra minute. I get an extra hour.
Because one of my least favorite things in life as an adult who cares about the NFL on daylight savings day, it takes an extra hour for football to start. And you're just like, I'm ready for it to be on. It's not on. This sucks. Well, we had it today thanks to the international game. So thank you. All right.
Oh, that was nice. And in some future where they move teams and we have like 4 teams in Europe, can you imagine like just every week having like 2 8:30 games?
Yeah. Oh,
every week.
Best. It would be the best.
Too many hours.
I'd love it. I would love it. All right. You see what the first morning game we get to come in this?
Yeah.
Game of the day. Well, there was 2 games of the day. Well, there was 3 games of the day.
So I bet the under in this game because I really didn't think I'd seen Jaron Hall. I went back and looked at some preseason stuff. I'm like, they're fucked. They're so fucked. This kid is so bad. And I'm not going to claim like bad beats because I thought the Minnesota defense would play a little better, and maybe they would have in a game state where they were just losing, but it was such a fucking weird game with all the turnovers inside. Well, it's like Minnesota turns the ball over inside the 5. Atlanta kicks a field goal 4 plays later.
Yeah.
Just really weird. It was like 11-3 at one point. And then, obviously, Jaron Hall gets knocked out. Dobbs, anyone who hasn't seen those tweets, go find like Alec Pierce from The Athletic. God. And I think he's with The Athletic. But
unbelievable.
Him, Seifert, he writes for the local paper up here. There's so many stories of
godlike stuff from Dobbs. Yeah.
KOC, his voice is gone because he was talking constantly. Like it's up until they kill the mic, trying to just tell Dobbs like where everybody should go for every single play. He said he did a really good job, but at the same time, nobody could do enough in the amount of time he had to be ready for this. They had to simplify things. He scrambled on a few third downs. A big point of emphasis I wanted to like his sack avoidance, especially on key downs, was massive. They don't win the game if he doesn't avoid some serious pressure on a few key third downs.
They don't win the game if he doesn't scramble for 25 yards on 4th and forever.
Yeah, that was obviously a huge one. That's massive. The scramble for the touchdown, the drive. I mean, just the late drive. Like Atlanta was gifted. It was like I have no idea what the right side was here. Everybody was gifting each other, but no one will ever unravel that.
No clue.
It was such a weird game.
No, you can see this is like the weird thing. Atlanta had like wildly shitty red zone efficiency in this one. Like there is a world where the exact same Vikings drives happen, right?
And Atlanta's up
and Atlanta's up 35-3. Yeah, 35-3. Like it's not competitive. Like this is just an absolute runaway blowout. And the fact that it was 11-10 at halftime had everyone who had Minnesota with a little you're gonna leave us in. You're gonna let them tell Dobbs what the plays are and let him introduce him to his teammates at halftime here, and maybe they'll get even better in the second half. But no, there was a bananas game. There was 1, 2, 3. They had 4 field goals and a safety to get to 14 points, and they were up 14-10. And you're under, you're probably still feeling pretty good. And if you have Minnesota plus 4.5, which I had, I was like, this is gonna die some sort of horrific death. But from there, this game just exploded. It was entertaining as shit. I could watch this one 2 or 3 more times and just try to understand how this happened. But the touchdown at the end of the game, the 2 touchdown drives that Dobbs Dobbs led to score, to tie at 21-21 with the touchdown, the 2-point conversion, and then to win it 31-28, they were just spectacular. It was absolutely incredible. I thought Taylor Heineke and the Atlanta Falcons offense showed a little bit more life than I expected after all of those red zone.
Heineke composed himself well.
Yeah. He had a bad.
I do have some Atlanta
really bad
to miss
pass,
the playoffs.
Right?
So
21-21, his interception that set the that gave the Vikings 3 points was pretty horrific.
All right, and You mentioned this, like they were horrific in the red zone. They didn't really get to the red zone. They were close, and I'm not like disputing what you're saying. Like you're right, because they were in this like 30 to 25 range for like the whole first half. So they had 2 red zone drives, Drew. And I'd like you to guess at how many yards they gained to reach the red zone on those drives.
Well, they were
the turnovers.
Turnovers.
They were the turnovers. They had 2 red zone drives that went for four plays for -4 and -6 yards and field goals. Like the red zone didn't exist for them. They just kicked weird field goals. They had the long play, the long touchdown pass to the running back or the tight end. I'm trying to.
What do you think? I got to imagine that you got to go way back in time to find a game where a team had 2 red zone drives that were negative yards that scored points. That's because
the entire drives. They're -4, -6.
4 plays -4, 4 play -6. That's bad. That is an embarrassment. I guess I don't understand really what's going on with Bijan Robinson and his usage. He was the more effective of the 2 running backs for Atlanta today, but for some reason was not utilized in the red zone for reasons unknown. Jonnu Smith was the preferred target over Kyle Pitts. Go figure that. He did have a nice 60-yard touchdown. And I guess play of the day, I thought outside of the Dobbs stuff was the catch by Jordan Addison on the sidelines. That was amazing. That guy got the hell up there and got his feet down somehow. And I was like, this is probably coming back. Like, that was so hard. Like, how did he get that? And he did it. He got it.
A weird game. The yardage was actually kind of similar, but I mean, there was 4 turnovers. There was 8 red zone. Vikings were only 3 for 6 in the red zone, gave up a safety. It's a lot of weird stuff.
Andy, was this a playoff game? Was this a play-in game? Because
probably.
the
Minnesota
Vikings are probably getting the 7th seed now.
Minnesota has a winning record now.
They're probably getting the 7th seed now. They're getting Darius. The Darius injury was a surprise to me, but they're getting Darius back. Justin Jefferson's coming back. Jordan Addison is a top 20 receiver right now.
Tampa Bay lost. Atlanta lost. The Rams lost.
Yeah.
I mean, Washington did get a win. So it is really opening up for like a Josh Dobbs starting a playoff game.
Yeah, this was.
We'll see what Jefferson's status is. He's eligible to return, but there's not returning yet. Minnesota did have some injuries that looked kind of bad. I guess Cam Akers. Maybe I don't give a shit about Cam. That's not moving the needle. He did probably blow his Achilles, I think was the update. KJ Osborne went out with a concussion.
Is that number 2 for him?
Yeah, I think it was the other leg.
Shit! What kind of luck is that? My God.
Maybe somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure if it was the same leg, but losing Osborne would be an issue if you're not getting Jefferson back in the next few games. But Minnesota has very winnable games, or they could win. If they win 3 more games, they have a very good shot at the playoff, which is weird. Atlanta still has an NFC South schedule. They have a bunch of coin flips.
Yeah. I got nothing else to say except this. That Dobbs performance was the most impressive thing I've seen all season.
Fun. It was fun that he had a good game. It was
the most impressive thing I've seen all season. All right. God damn, he had 7 for 66 and a touchdown. Jeez, man. What a fucking badass. Unbelievable. Let's move down to Seattle-Baltimore, which was a thrashing. Any takeaways here, or is this just Baltimore was at home and their defense was just in skull fuck mode?
Masterclass by the Baltimore defense from a game plan standpoint. Like any moments I watched of this game where Seattle had the ball, Gino looked befuddled. Looked like he didn't know what to. I don't know how to make the pre-snap reads. What was going to happen, and kind of made a lot of mistakes. Yeah. And Baltimore followed through on offense. They ran the ball really well against a team that had been decent against the run. Yep. And Lamar threw the ball well enough, and it was just it was kind of a thrashing.
Yeah. Sam looks Mike McD is a damn wizard. He is a damn wizard, but I will also say, as we talked about on the pod, there is a very straightforward way that you game plan for Geno Smith. And the book is kind of, if you're a good DC and you have players that could do it, if you're a team that likes to run man anyway, you can really bring out the worst in them. And they did it they did it and made it look kind of easy. Seattle yards per play today was 3.2, which isn't an embarrassment, but
I mean, there's quarterbacks like this all the time where it's like, hey, he doesn't do well against interior pressure. He doesn't do well against the blitz. He doesn't do well against man coverage. And you see teams just like, oh, we're still not going to do that. It's crazy that we have to like laud someone for doing it, but going to to heavier man coverage and befuddling him, that's how you win a game by what did that 37-3.
Not
kind of forgot. I stopped watching.
Usually in a game like that,
took the starters out like early in the fourth.
Typically in a game like that, the turnover battle is like 5-0. This was 2-2. Like this wasn't even turnovers. And also, like I had a pretty decent rating on Seattle's run D. They got cooked.
I was gonna say, like, absolutely everyone did, Drew. Like they had a good run D. The big caveat was, have they played anybody, a decent offense at the right time yet? And not really.
Nope.
And they got cooked by everybody. They got cooked by a young guy that a lot of people.
I had never heard of that guy's name. I've never heard of his name spoken out loud.
The college football guys loved him.
Oh, did they?
I've seen a couple of college football guys.
Keaton Mitchell?
The
college football guys?
Couple guys who bet college made some
what was his school mascot, Andy?
I don't know.
He was an ECU Pirate.
He was a pirate.
East Carolina legend, says Gil. East Carolina legend.
Raise up,
Pirate legend.
Shirt off.
Pirate legend.
All right, what's next?
I don't know if
we got a bunch of fun.
I
games.
Don't know if Roquan DPOI is live because the guys at the top are so entrenched.
The guys are still so good.
But there will be a moment where people are asking themselves, "Damn, like the best defense is so clearly Baltimore. Like, do we need to consider a guy on Baltimore?" And if Pittsburgh and Cleveland fall out of the playoff mix, and if Micah Parsons doesn't get more counting stats, then that's the only way in. But at 100-1, I like it as a bet. I don't understand the Dobbs comeback player of the year bet, but I will. Let's talk about this on Wednesday because we got some teams on by. Tonight's pomp and circumstance around DeMar Hamlin, probably the last time anyone says his name all year. So if there's going to be a time if you want to sell on him in that market, it's probably now. I just don't know who you buy because everybody else's case is so shit.
Like what is Dobbs coming back from?
Yeah,
it's a Geno thing, like just not getting a chance
by the Cardinals this year. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I love that the Cardinals got something for him after just. I guess I don't know what the plan was.
What a segue, Andy. What was the plan? What was the plan? Because the next game is Arizona, Cleveland.
Somebody made this joke last week, and I don't know who said it, but they said, I don't understand what this means. That if they're not actually going to start Kyler Murray, like this is a tank, then like this is just they're just punting on this game 100%. I said. And then you watch this game, and they put up 58 total yards. I'm not going to spend a lot of time in this game.
No,
at least on the Cardinals side. They absolutely punted this game. They might bring Collar back next week, kind of see where they're at, get ready to go into next season with the plan. Now the coaching staff can evaluate where they're at with Kyler if they do end up going with him. The big takeaway was we did see a long ball from Watson, and it didn't look bad. He didn't look 100%, but we're kind of in that tweener stage where it's where we were with Burrow like a month ago. Like, all right, he's not back, but he doesn't look as shitty as he did the last time. And as shitty as, what we saw from Watson, what game was that where he played a couple drives and then got knocked out? Remember that? I mean, there's just a couple of really bad balls over the middle that were clearly short. Like, and Beat Gamer 99 here says he's going to be in a blender next week against Baltimore. Not a great matchup next week for him to build on this, but he looks like his shoulder is starting to feel a little better. So
I gotta
something
watch.
to watch.
I watched virtually none of that.
Go find. I mean, at least go find the long ball, the early long ball.
Okay, I will. I'll give it a sincere look because like my personal opinion was I really was hopeful that Watson was going to play this game so we would get some tape on him before that handicap next week because without it I just don't even know what to say or do. I just want to kind of close this point on Arizona. Like I felt like something a tanking team would do. And I was told pretty sincerely that this is not a tanking team, Andy.
They're doing everything right that a tanking team would do. It's like you know how we joke about Dan Campbell being aggressive because he's just dumb. Like he's not being aggressive analytically. He's being aggressive from his guttural feelings. Like, hey, I think I should go for this. And most, coaches shade to being too conservative. So by the fact that he's just accidentally going for it too many times, he's actually making like plus EV decisions. It's the same thing by them. Like when they're down big and they go for all these fourth downs, and they don't have the team to do it, and they're just constantly turning the ball over on downs in the second half of games and not scoring. It's like, oh, this is good for a tank.
The Hef says both tackles left the game for Cleveland this week. Follow that injury because that matters. Okay, no, the final point on this.
I was going to say that's the only other note I have on that one is like Jedrick Willis ain't coming back. I mean he's done, like air cast, carted out kind of stuff. Like he's done. We have to see about the other one.
Yeah. You know what a tanking team would do? They would have Clayton Tune make his first career start against the Browns defense.
Clayton Tune had a bad day.
You know how bad it was, Andy? You know how bad it was?
It was like 50 yards of offense, man.
Going back to the beginning of tracking data for NFL, the Arizona offense put up a bottom 20 yards per play performance today with 1.2 yards per play. Most of the other teams on this list, the 79 Seahawks, the 67 Broncos, the 81 Bears, the 67 Packers. There are very, very few modern instances of a team only being able to generate 1.2 yards per play in a game. But congratulations to Gannon and Tune Time for getting 1.2 yards per play today. Well done, man. All right.
The defense didn't look too bad to start the game. But you know what? Doesn't matter how good they are, you can't carry a tune. that was my pun for the day. I mean, it just they got so little out of the offense. I mean, what did
they did?
I mean, obviously at the end of the game, we know they had to score 1 point to win it, but I mean, Cleveland didn't need to do much there.
No, they did not. All right, let's move down to a game that I have many thoughts on. Rams Packers. Ended up on Packers here after we got final report, and it was clearly not going to be Stafford. And it was you kind of look at, oh wow, Packers are at full strength, and the Rams are on QB2 with Dresser Wynn backing him up, and Henderson in the backfield. Like I was like, Packers can't win this game. Then
5%
fire them into the sun.
That it was going to be Stafford.
Yeah, I did too. I was a little like
call your number guy.
Yeah,
I got scared off it. But I mean, after this morning, it's like shit.
I played it. I played it. I put it in the contests. I was very, very pro Packers today. I watched a lot of that game this morning because the only other game I really cared about was Ravens, and that was a blowout. So it was a runaway, whatever. The Packers were a fucking joke in winning this game 20-3. I cannot tell you how unserious so much of what they were doing was in this contest. It was just brain dead procedural garbage, absurd fumbles, missed field goals, like everything that they could do to keep the Rams in this game until the end of the fourth quarter, they did. And then they finally, thankfully pulled away and won comfortably. The scoreboard does not indicate what this should have been 40-3, not 20-3. Like they had no business even having the Rams in this for a cover as late as they were. And I got to tell you, man, I saw some of the most absurd shit with 2 4th downs that LaFleur elected to go for that were converted that got called back because of offensive offsides. Can you remember the last game you saw offensive offsides called? It must happen like 1 or 2% of games, and the Packers did it twice
somehow.
The Packers did it twice on 4th down conversions that got called back, and you're just like, what are you doing? Jordan Love remains borderline unplayable. Like, he is really
and I was going to say, Drew, put yourself in the coaching chair and say you're playing a team. They have some good receivers, yes, but it's a team that you kind of have the book on what they're going to try to do offensively. The running back, the running game is just not there right now. They're missing some pieces up front, and they're going to play a bad backup quarterback. But your offense hasn't been good for the whole year. What is your game plan to it's keep it simple and they did that at times. Like, if you go look at this, and really you should watch this game. If you go look at Jordan Love and say, hey, 20 of 26 to 28, not bad. Go watch the game. Doesn't tell the whole story, obviously, but the penalties, the turnovers, and then some of the calls during the game that they made, like that, the decision making by LaFleur, it was like you're kind of dancing with the devil here. Do you want to win this game or not?
It was crazy. Like,
it's going to be on a rewatch. It's a rewatch for me tomorrow.
I think the fact that it was a comfortable win and cover, and that the Packers got bet, but then this week they're 3-point dogs and they're getting bet against. The market is already trying to push that to 3.5. I think that tells the whole story. Like, people are like way out on the Packers, and I think it's probably right.
That's what was scary about even considering them. It's like, man, I can't bet on Brett Rippon, but man, it's so hard to push bet on the Green Bay Packers right now with that offense.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I'll bet Packers. We're one Rashawn Gary rush away from dress or win taking the field.
Well, and there's another one too, where if you look at the NFL standings right now, they're still chip churn a chance. We still have half the season left per year. These teams some teams have played 9, but if you're the Rams, what's the incentive to rush Stafford back? You're sitting in the 12 seed. You're now behind the Packers because you've lost to them. You have tough games coming up within your own division. Mm-hmm. Basically ahead of the Bears, Panthers, Bears, Panthers, Giants, and Cardinals. That's the only teams behind you. I know Stafford might have been close, but it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't rush him back. Doesn't seem like a good idea.
Yeah, your super young core of wide receivers and tight ends, none of them stood out today.
Musgrave was good. Musgrave was good,
but most of his stuff was just short stuff, short.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But that was the only thing I was impressed with by LaFleur is hey, just spoon feed this terrible quarterback.
Yeah,
that obviously might not be the long term answer.
Yeah,
and do it with a good tight end.
I don't understand what the plan is with Christian Watson. I don't understand what the plan is with Romeo Doubs. Dontavion Wicks was a huge featured part of their game plan today. No real usage of Jaden Reed. He had a gross penalty. Wicks had one of the most absurd fumbles you'll ever see. I don't want to see that play again. This should have been an absolute runaway. Brett Rippon was actually kind of better than his stat line suggests, probably. Cooper Kupp cooked Jair Alexander in the first half of this game, just beat the ever-living shit out of him on one play. And then that was about the highlight of the day for the Rams offense. Rams rushing offense was super useless. Their offensive line was pretty poor. And I agree with you. I don't know why you would rush Stafford back. I don't know why you would try to win. I think you need to full on rebuild right now.
Yeah, it's you got your Super Bowl. You got to pay the piper now.
Yeah,
it's time
to
kind of start rebuilding on that. They did have to start some. They did have to start some really low round rookies in that secondary for Green Bay. That's tough. That's tough on Jair, but he does get burnt a little bit. He's kind of he's turning into that guy where he's a little more boom or bust.
Yep.
The only other thing was the Watson got injured late in the game too.
Yes,
I didn't get an update on that, but he had a
doesn't matter.
Chest and back.
Doesn't matter.
He's still kind of important, but if that's the offense that you're going to see, who's actually important?
It's just inexperienced, sloppy team. I don't have any thought. Matt LaFleur looked like he wanted to quit. He looked like he was ready to call it. The next game up on the docket is Tampa-Houston. Really, really fun game. CJ Stroud won Offensive Rookie of the Year. If you bet Houston at 3 or 2.5, I feel an enormous amount of sympathy for you because you deserved a clean win, if not a backdoor win, and you did not get it. And I don't know how Tampa Bay was in this game at all. I don't understand it.
Flashbacks to the Minnesota Miracle, because that extra point that they did not kick was pertinent to the closing number.
That's a great point.
Doesn't happen very often. Brutal that they the kicker injury and they opted to just kneel. I thought they might just, even the announcers like, well, why not just give it to your running back? Like, I guess you could end up in a tie game in a nightmare. What's Miracle at the Meadowlands kind of scenario kind of thing.
Sure,
but I mean, just give it to your fullback and let him tote it. Maybe you get the 2 points. I feel for you guys. Houston was great. There's quotes after the game saying that Stroud talked the coaching staff into running less.
Oh, basically, good.
Like,
well, that's good.
I'm ready for this. We have a bunch of good young receivers. Tank. It was big.
So
this is like one of those like, oh shit, we've got something. We're not ready to be good yet, but we got the biggest puzzle piece. Now we just have to sort the rest out. We think we might have a good coaching staff. Like, if you're in Houston, obviously you're still rooting for your team to win every game, and it'd be fun if you could get into the playoffs and, maybe even sneak your way into it. God, it's still tough. The Jags are 6-2. You're still 2 games back plus tiebreakers. But man, it's a fun time to be a Houston Texans fan, I think, because once you have that big piece, like Will Anderson has a lot of growing into that role. You have all those good young receivers. It's exciting. Yeah, this is the joke. Like, can I bet them to win the AFC South next year somewhere?
Yeah, that's fun.
That's it.
It is noteworthy that a running back kicked a field goal in this one. That's cool. Here's where I'm stuck and why I need to.
When's the last time you think you saw somebody do that? I remember Flutie doing the drop kick.
Flutie did the drop kick extra point. Yeah, in the last game of the season. Yeah, that's definitely
been a long time.
A little razzle dazzle from the Bills for nothing. So here's where I'm stuck, Andy. How in the world did the Texans outgain the Buccaneers by 165 yards? They beat them in yards per play 8-5.3. They tied in turnovers. There was a lot of penalties in this game, but relatively even. How was this close? Why did they need a miracle at the end? What in the world, like weird bounces of the ball, got us to where this was even a question as to who was going to win?
Yeah, I haven't sorted that out yet. I didn't watch a lot of this one. I just kind of caught the ending there.
Okay.
But it was...
Well, 500 yards and 5 touchdowns for CJ Stroud. Congratulations on Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, it's over. You've got that. I know Baker was okay. They ran the ball decent. I'm just kind of looking at the drive-by-drive stuff because this is number one on my rewatch because I didn't expect this game to turn out this way. All right, so turnovers, I guess, you had a bad turnover to start the game. You ended up down 3-0.
Yeah.
Went bang, bang, punt. I'm just looking at how we got
we'll comment more because we got to figure out how to rate Houston. And I honestly, like, I don't understand how you have such an ass kicking on paper, but it wasn't like clear win.
Yeah, I mean, it had a long pass to Mike Evans.
No, weird. A shitload of penalty yards. I don't know. Maybe that was the thing. The Houston, maybe the offense, the penalty yards might have just been helping the Bucs. I don't know. The Commanders, Patriots. Patriots were favored for reasons unknown. They got bet against aggressively all week. That was correct. If you had an over in this game, you probably are a
I'm
little.
not 100% sure they were the right side.
No. Oh, what, the Commanders or the
Yeah.
over?
No, the Commanders, like they tried a few times to fuck this game up. This was one I stayed away from because I said, like, oh man, what was this total?
They won time 40 and a half. This absolutely should have gone over. Like if you had an over in this game,
I
you lost.
I looked at this over strongly. I think the first half over did hit there. It would have been 19 or 20. That was we got to 24, but yeah, that would have been a brutal. If you did have that over, that sucks. This was one too where it was like Washington probably should have won by more, but Howell did a couple things. This is on my rewatch list.
Yeah, Washington won the time of possession here 1,000,000.
37 to 22. Yeah, that was what I had written down.
2 turnovers. I wanted
to figure out how exactly we did that.
I think the worst penalty of the day was in this game. It was the roughing the passer that took the roughing off the. Yeah, that was a little literally absurd, like truly absurd. Let's keep going down the board because I didn't bet that one. Chicago, New Orleans. I bet
fumble.
This was I don't think the second half over is going to get there, Andy. We might be off the schneid. This will be big. We might be off the schneid. I won't. I'm going to hold my breath. The worst beat of the day for me was not the Cowboys in terms of how did this happen. It was the Saints. I laid 7.5. They won by 7, and there was a missed field goal. They dominated the game. They won the turnover battle 5-0. They had field goal chance inside of 4 minutes to make it a 10-point game. They had the ball inside of the 20, inside of 2 minutes. And if they don't convert the first down, they kick the field goal. But they didn't. It was just a comedy of making sure they won by 7 and no more than 7. And it really did kind of kick me squarely.
I had them in a teaser. And
that was a good teaser.
Feeling good. I wasn't feeling good about it ever.
Well, the first half of the game, the Saints defense went out on Bourbon Street last night, Andy. You know how I know? Yep. Because they did not fucking show up for the first part of this game. They went and celebrated daylight saving. You get an extra hour of the bars open on Bourbon Street. It only happens once a year. And the Saints defense made sure they took advantage of that last night, I would say, because they slept through the first half.
To have a 5 turnover advantage and not look better than this at home against a low drafted rookie quarterback. This isn't some heralded, Burrow's here and Herbert's here. I mean, this is teabag, guys. Like, to get those turnovers and not capitalize, that was because if you look at this box score, like we both said this, we said, hey, Saints dominated. Saints didn't even win the yardage battle. They didn't win the yards per play battle. They didn't win. It was both 50% on third down. The turnovers, 5-0. The penalties, 8 penalties for 71 yards for the Bears, 1 for 5 for the Saints. The fact that the Saints just couldn't take advantage of any of that, it was just maddening. Yeah, they should have been up by a lot more. Yeah. They couldn't get. I don't know. They just couldn't get things going. The sequencing just wasn't working at times. Things weren't. It was just like they were missing this one little ingredient to keep these drives and maybe make some field goals. Yeah, ugly that they didn't cover the late number.
Yeah, I mean here's the thing: 90% of the success the Bears had was
division price, though.
90% of the success the Bears had was the first half of this game. Like the Saints defense made Tyson Bagent look like peak Mike Vick. Like it was ridiculous the degree to which they were getting everything they wanted in the first half here, and it still was tied 14-14 at halftime. There was a very loud doinked field goal, which was funny. But ultimately, I thought that the Saints, with the turnover differential that they had and the penalty that they had, they should have won this one by 3 scores. And the fact that it was 7 kind of hurts. Not saying it was a right or wrong bet. The market moved it to 9. I bet 7.5. So I think I was on the right side there, but whatever. No big deal. You lose some.
I was happy I found an 8.5 to tease.
Yeah. Speaking of you lose some, I was kind of incensed that Indianapolis was favored on the road last week, but then having had a very, very, very challenging time with the Carolina Panthers getting a win against the Texans last week, I backed off. Boy, oh boy, 14-point
I threw
margin
him in a
here.
Teaser.
Who, the Panthers?
Well, I mean, they were just sitting. They were sitting on a good number, and that was a tough hang.
14-point margin of victory here for the Indianapolis Colts. You know what? Here you go. You know what is a perfect compliment to what we were just talking about? The Indianapolis Colts won their turnover battle convincingly, and that was enough for them to get a multiple score win, unlike the Saints. The Panthers outgained.
The Saints just needed to take the turnovers directly to the end
zone. Exactly.
Same guy. Two pick sixes. Good job.
2 pick sixes in the same game for Kenny Moore. Well done. But the Panthers outgained the Colts here, 275 to 198. Bryce Young was borderline unplayable. I don't know what to say. He looked so fucking shook, and I thought we'd worked through that. I thought he was looking a little better. He's starting to look a little confident, but just pressure, shook. Yeah. First read wasn't there, shook. Can't figure out what the defense is doing. Shook. Like, just everything about him looked very, very unsure, complete lack of confidence. And I mean, this is a home game. It's not a great. There's some good pass rushing pieces here. It's not a bad defense, but this isn't the 85 Bears, Bryce. You got to be a little better. Yeah, ugly performance by them. That said, the teaser was looking like it was the teaser leg, at least, was looking like it was maybe going to come through anyway. And then he threw another pick six, and they weren't doing enough on offense. So we'll find out. I don't have any answers. I know that I have, what's the right word? I have a vote of no confidence in the Panthers coaching staff right now, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, the change at OC didn't do anything.
No, did nothing.
That was a nothing burger. Got super excited. We cashed on him last week, but
nothing. The skill, it's not like. And here's the other fucked up thing about the Panthers. It's all so bad on offense that I don't know if it's the players or the plays. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
like it's like there's so much bad that you can't.
Like you really have a nature question there.
Exactly. Is this the players or the plays? Because it's all bad. I don't have anything else to say about that.
I've heard Panthers, you can't hate the player.
Yeah.
Hate the OC.
Well, you know what? What'll help fix things, Andy, for the Panthers? A short week in primetime. How about that? You want to see the Panthers on Thursday Night Football? Amazon paid $6 billion for it. Let's fucking go. Let's put these Panthers on right in primetime on a short week. Let's do it.
Yeah. Not only that, but you got to go to cold Chicago. Play a defense who's getting a little healthy. The Bears defense is not great, but they have some pieces.
Yes.
And there's some bad situational spots. Indy back-to-back road games, with the second one being in Frankfurt.
Yeah.
That's not great.
Almost as bad news, Andy. I think the Fox game of the week next week in the afternoon slot is going to be the Giants against the Cowboys. I think that's going to be the national game on in the 4 p.m.ers.
Yeah,
I'll be watching
Chargers.
I'll be watching Chargers versus the Lions, which is a good one.
Seattle would be watchable.
Giants, Cowboys will not. Tommy DeVito time, buddy. I guess here's what I want to say. Great job, Antonio Pierce, getting your guys up for a football game.
Are you easiest? Don't you dare dog on them for celebrating.
Did you see what they were doing?
They got a well. I don't
beat
think
Tommy DeVito.
Drew, you're dead wrong here. This is asinine. They're not celebrating beating Tommy DeVito. They're celebrating getting rid of. They're still. This is like day 6 of celebrating getting rid of. I almost called him Gruden.
McDaniels. Yeah.
It sounds like more and more stories come out. That it's like there was such a divide and everybody hated him. Nobody. I think it's still just carryover from that.
Okay.
Because you should not pat yourself on the back for beating. Yeah, they should have gone to Barkley Wildcat.
Somebody brought cigars to the game, to the stadium, to pass out after they beat the Giants today.
Yeah. Well, they thought they were going to be beating before. To his credit,
they thought they were
going to be
beating
Daniel Jones, who is
Daniel Jones,
sadly out for.
Is it sad? I'm kind of fine not seeing him anymore.
Well, I mean, it's sad if you're him or if you.
He got paid though, so I guess.
But also we're starting to get to the point of the year too, where if you do tear an ACL.
Yeah, you're done.
It's not like, oh, you're not ready for camp. You're not ready for week 1. So interesting to see. They cannot start Tommy DeVito next week.
No, they can't.
He's not NFL ready. I guess you probably elevate Matt Barkley. I don't know.
What was the plan? Why is he the backup? What are they doing?
I don't know because Tyrod is still like very much beat up. And they didn't want to waste a spot on Barkley, I guess.
I want to retroactively rip the coach of the year out of Dable's hands so bad.
Don't start me there.
Like this is such a garbage follow-up to last year. It is awful.
Not a ton of say. We should say I did bet the Barkley prop, which got a little hairy when the game got out of hand. So still refusing to do anything to address like the fact that they can't stop the run.
Oh, we got Barkley. Oh yeah.
It was just good that it was good that they got a lead. AOC didn't look bad at times. He was finding guys.
It's too bad that the Dallas New York is not a primetime game. We could set up a profit exchange. Who has more total yards, Barkley or Barkley?
Barkley. Maybe we can. Maybe they'll just let us. I'll talk to him. Barkley versus Barkley would be
Barkley versus Barkley would be fun. All right, man.
By the toes.
Yeah, that was close. I think I'm fine with more time. Tick, 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 tick.
Yeah, run a few plays here.
Yeah, let's get a couple. Yeah, in fact, let's get a couple looks. Maybe you can, bully the line a little bit. Let's get some mixing some touches.
Any other games besides Dallas? Or are we finally up to it?
We're up to Dallas. Let's do it. I guess AOC.
Yeah, as we touched on in the beginning, too.
AOC played well against a defense that had been playing better lately. I guess
the pass rush had been doing okay, and he looked composed at times. AOC looked better than Bryce Young today.
Yes, he did. Actually, of the rookie quarterbacks that started this week, I think I would have probably taken even Jaron Hall over Young.
Jaron Hall's 3 drives.
He didn't have 3. He only had the 1, right?
No, he had the 1. Yeah, it was early. I wasn't invested in that game, so I think
there were 4 rookie quarterbacks that started this week that were better than Bryce Young, Andy.
So I didn't watch it. I don't watch games that have unders and then it got interesting. I'm like, now I got to watch this game.
Wait, is Tyson Badgett a rookie?
Yes.
Oh, there were 5. There were 5 quarterbacks that are rookies that were better than Bryce Young today.
Yeah, he was okay.
Yeah. All right, man.
All right, Cowboys game. Eagles look tough right off the bat. They did that thing early in the second half where they did that thing early in the second half too, where they looked like they were just going to be able to just fucking murder the clock, just murder it, and you're not going to get a chance.
Yeah.
But I want a big shout out to Quinn. The Dallas defense stood up. They got stops to get the ball back when they needed to. And then we had sacks, which again, it's not just one person. Like it's not just Dak taking those sacks. It's a good pass rush. It's a good it's a good, a good defensive game plan they put together there. And it's tough when they know you have to throw. You don't want to be playing the Eagles, man. So kudos to BG, got a couple sacks in a row, and basically everybody else. That one drive. Everybody else was putting pressure up front, but man, McCarthy, just make a couple better decisions throughout this game, and you probably win it. I hate to dog on Dak for the 2-point conversion because that was tough to get around that corner. But so it was a game that was hinged on a couple really close plays. The 2-point conversion, they would have kicked the field goal late, then this game would have probably gone to overtime. We'd have seen where we're at. The other part too, the Schoonmaker, was it Schoonmaker?
Yeah.
on the goal line. That catch non-catch stuff too. There was a lot of really
if
tight
he bobbles
angles.
it and then corrals it, it's a touchdown.
Yep.
But he caught it cleanly with the knee.
He caught it clean. He was
I mean, real game of inches shit in that one.
Yeah.
The Dak stepping out of bounds in the 2-point conversion was, I guess here's my top 5 least favorite things that happened in this game.
Yeah. Throwing to Tolbert.
No, you ready? Yeah. The 4th down. Well, no. Okay. Fifth least favorite thing. 4th and 8 throwing at Tolbert.
We're David Letterman now. Top 10 things you hated about the Eagles game.
Number 4. Dak taking a sack on 1st and goal with 20 something seconds in the game.
Okay.
Number 3 is gonna be the Dak stepping out of bounds, I think, on the 2-point conversion. Or should that be number 1? That should probably be number 1 because he did not need to take that angle. Like, he had it. He was there. Like, he didn't need to make that plant to dive for the end zone. He had it. So I'll save that for number 1. Number 3 then was rather than clock it and get 2 shots at the end zone, running the garbage play where you literally were just like, well, a throwaway is as good as a clocking, but then that took time off the clock. That took time for everybody to get it back. Then you took a delay of game, right? Like that whole kind of discombobulated.
The delay of game is like number 2 for me. That was such a
but it's all part of the same decision making. We're gonna run this. We're gonna run this scramble. We're gonna run this scramble.
The fucking quarterback draw.
Yeah, and number 2 is the fact that Schoonmaker had his knee down on the 1, and then number 1 was Dak stepping out of bounds at the 2-yard line, or at
the run before the pass though. The scramble where I thought he was going to score on 3rd and goal. Yeah, that one hurt too.
Yeah, I'm not even including any of the fumbles that this is what I'm saying. DeAndre Swift
draw that didn't happen.
Yes. Here's another one. The offensive lineman who, and this didn't end up mattering, but who checked in as eligible. Dak confirmed with the umpire that he was eligible, and then they still called an illegal formation on them. Like you can see it all happening, and they're confirming it on the field. I don't understand why they didn't push back harder on that. Whatever. They got a touchdown on the next play. Didn't matter. But I'm not even counting the DeAndre Swift, AJ Brown collision fumble, the fact that some rookie guard sat on the ball somehow and recovered it instead of Micah Parsons, who was right there. Parsons was so close, Andy. He was right there. He was so close.
All things said, we still do need to give Philly credit. And
yeah, of course.
Especially Jalen Hurts, who I'm like, he's out. Everybody's like, oh, he's out of the game. This game sucks now. It's just like, oh, he's fine. Oh, he's fine. He's playing. He has like no pain receptors.
I guess let me eat a little bit of crow. I thought the game was going to hinge on Dallas's defense being impactful and slowing Philly's offense down, and that was not a thing. Like Philly got 28 points, and it didn't even feel like they really had to sweat. They did have a bunch of the good plays, like some of the stuff they ran. I thought were well outside of the tendencies that I've picked up on them this season. I thought some of the stuff that they did was pretty unique. Although it is worth noting that if Philly, they needed to run out the clock and they couldn't. Like they're running.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like Dan Quinn deserves credit for sure.
Yeah, sure. But I thought the defense was going to be, whereas they were going to be able to put more of a thumb on. Did we get a bad deal?
No, well, I don't know. It depends how you look at it. Like Josh Allen just ducking Hubbard.
Oh yeah, that's
man.
Fine. A matriculating drive that takes.
I love that. I love that play.
Fine with me.
So,
yeah, that was good. Josh Allen's good. He's a good player.
But
yeah, no, Dak was. He was. You said it. I think at the beginning of the pod or in the halftime show. I don't know, but. He was so Tony Romo today.
Is that what you want? You want 370 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a loss because of some bad decisions late?
Yeah, that's it.
I'd rather, you know what I'd rather have? I'd rather have Josh Dobbs for 150 yards and W.
No, you wouldn't.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
What
I'm
would
saying
you?
I want my quarterback to be good at
this conversation came up with some smart folks I was talking to earlier. Would you if you were Dallas, would you swap Tua for Dak 1-for-1?
Ooh, not as much as my offensive line's beat up.
If I don't get Mike McDaniel, the answer is no.
Because
right?
as people have pointed out, like Terrence Steele is rough on the right side. Like we're dogging on Dak for taking sacks, but I mean that guy was getting beaten like a rented mule. It was rough. Yeah, it's tough assignments, but you gotta do something there. No, I can't. I would take Dak in this situation, like putting Tua on the Cowboys. No.
So why is Tua fourth for MVP? That makes sense. All right, whatever.
I mean, he had that equity built up early in the season.
Dude, the MVP race is like, this is the most uninspiring MVP race I can remember. This is wild. This is wildly bad. All right. Well, anything you like on the openers?
No, let's look quick openers.
Burrow being in the MVP race is kind of wild, but he is.
Yeah. So yeah, you said Carolina, Chicago, short week in the Windy City. Looking at, I mean, what do you got for a line there? I'm pulling up. I didn't have my book up. I just had look aheads up. Still at the 340.5. Assuming that's going to be. Look at that, Josh.
Chicago's second Thursday night football game.
Yeah,
that's weird. Usually teams didn't get 2 TNFs, and Chicago's now has 2 in like 4 weeks. They played on October 7th-ish. It was like a month ago. They played Washington.
Hosting. Well, we thought this was going to be Fields emerging here. Fields might play this game. Sounds like he's getting closer.
He was a latest scratch, I guess. Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah, kind of, hold your horses on that. I'm not saying I don't know what the difference, I guess, right now between this
right now the rating for Teabag and a Fields with an injured finger is probably the same.
Yeah, I was going to say, depends how hindered he is by a thumb if he can't grab the ball completely. So I thought we could flex TNF games out too. I don't think we can do it yet. I think we got to get a little closer. No opinion, I'm pretty close on that price. Plus, I'm not interested with the quarterbacks available. New England hosting Indianapolis in Frankfurt, Germany. Like we said, second road game in a row for Indy. This number's sitting at what? New England +1. Sure. That's good. 44.
Okay.
That's a total. I won't touch that total. I don't like Indy games right now. Houston, Cincy playing right now, so we're not going to have a line, but I'm guessing you're going to be somewhere between 6 and 8.
Yeah.
Something like that as a home favorite, despite Houston being a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Probably closer to the 6 because Houston was good.
You skipped a good one.
Which one's that?
Cleveland, Baltimore.
I have them in different order.
Oh, you do?
I don't do rotation order anymore in this one. I have a specific. All right, Cleveland, Baltimore. What do you make that?
Same market as last week. Opens 5.5. It looks like it's going to go 6.
Yeah, I'm higher. I might just keep betting Baltimore.
I think so too.
I did it this week. I might just keep doing it.
Tackles are out.
You know what? It is a right now bet.
Yeah, I think so. I think
5.5 minus 109. We'll take
the market has appetite for Baltimore 3 weeks in a row now.
I don't want to give Cleveland a ton of credit, and it's just a nightmare matchup for Deshaun Watson. Might get some comeuppance. All right, back to my order.
Challenging because McDermott does not know how to make in-game decisions. We know that about him. All right, back to your order. Houston, Cincinnati.
German for shower fart is Duschfutz.
Duschfutz?
That's way funnier.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Duschfutz.
All right, it's
literally it's at the time of the day where if you are farting in your shower, that makes sense. It's the early morning game. The Houston, Cincinnati, I don't have a strong read at all, but there's going to be appetite for Houston if it's 7.5, I think. And if this score holds, I would expect 7.5, right?
I would probably just open it at a 7. Let the market decide which way they want to go with that.
If it's 7, I'm not involved at all. But if 7.5, I'm thinking long and hard about Houston.
Yeah.
Okay. The San Francisco 49ers and the Jacksonville Jaguars are both coming off of buys in my most anticipated game of the week by far. I'm so excited for this one.
Early start for a West Coast team here. But yeah, you get both teams coming off a bye, and what are we at 3? San
If I
Francisco
were
by 3?
commissioner, I would have put this in Sunday Night Football instead of Jets Raiders. But that's just me.
Yep.
I freaking
Jets are a
love
big
this
market.
game, man. Love this game. Super, super excited. No idea who wins.
I won't bet this.
You don't have an early lean?
I make it 3, man.
All right, Sam will be there.
Jackson.
Boots on the ground for
Boots
Sam.
on the ground.
I thought Sam was a Washington guy. He's gonna be in Jacksonville. Okay, be in Duval.
People are allowed to come to California, Drew.
Yeah, of course, but like, a trip to Jacksonville in the middle of November is a little.
Oh yeah, this is in Duval.
Yeah. The total the number at 3 is probably going to come down.
It's trending over that way at Chris already. It's
right?
3 minus 17 at for the Jags.
Yeah.
So I guess
if you want Jags, I think you got to take them soonish.
Try to find a cheap 3 now.
Yeah.
Tennessee, Tampa.
No clue.
Tennessee extra rest off the Thursday game, but this is a second straight road game for them. And Tampa kind of looked okay on offense at times. I don't know what to make of that one. I think I would, what is it, a pick-em-ish?
Yeah.
Sure. That's a good number.
Yeah, I think so too. Man.
What else does that leave us?
We have a New Orleans, Minnesota number up, and surprisingly, our Saints are under a field goal against Josh Dobbs. Very, very, very intriguing. And I mean, you're asking me to bet Saints there. Pittsburgh is -3 and getting bet against the Green Bay Packers. I think that makes sense. Arizona and Atlanta are playing apparently.
Yeah, Pittsburgh with extra time too. They're off the Thursday game, so they get 10 days to prep for the genius that is Matt LaFleur.
Yeah,
the Detroit one is interesting. Detroit off the bye, and the Chargers yet to play. I know that line isn't up in a lot of places, but is that like a semi widowmaker?
Yeah,
it's not the same.
It's not though. No, it's not.
It's not a widowmaker.
No. It's not a widowmaker spot. No.
It's not, but it is a big, goofy advantage spot. How many teams play a team off the bye after having to play a Monday game?
It happens.
That feels bad, though. It does happen.
It happened last week, and the team on short rest dominated. I want to say it was.
Oh, Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas. Yeah, Vegas against Detroit.
Vegas was off Monday Night Football.
Detroit, Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Vegas. Oh, this week. No, I'm losing track. I'm not 100%. Sure.
Either way, what's that leave us with?
It does happen. It does happen kind of a lot.
Washington, Seattle.
Oh, man. They made that 2-point attempt? Really? That was a very close call.
I did not think he got both feet in.
I did not think he did either.
I think they're going to need to look at that.
They are going to review it surely. I don't love Cincinnati letting Buffalo back into this game at all. What? Don't need to sweat this total at all or this side. Octopus for Diggs. He got the touchdown and the 2-pointer. Yeah, that's freaking great. The Arizona Atlanta is interesting because for some reason Circa's fine hanging Atlanta -2.5 on the road, even though the entire universe expects Kyler Murray to go. If it's Calamari against Atlanta, I think you probably got to take the Cardinals.
They're so short on offensive playmakers around him, though. Can he elevate a bunch of Jags,
Sure. No line up at Detroit Chargers, although we're looking at trending at a 1.5. No line for Washington for Jets Vegas, but trending at 1.5 for the Jets. Wow, Jets are going to be favored on the road against Vegas. Okay. Washington Seattle is at Seattle -6.5.
Jets off a short week though too, because they'll play Monday Night Football. So
This is
short
about
week,
as
and then
good as a bounce back as you could ever drop for the Seattle Seahawks.
I was gonna say if that opens, man, are we gonna get like a 5.5, 6? Where is it right now?
6.5.
Oh, I guess that's kind of where I'm
Under
at. Then that's fair.
under a touch. Anything under a touchdown, I think, is a bet. I think Seattle is a bet. They have any injuries today? I don't think so.
Kind of close. Their offensive line, their tackles are still beat up, man.
Oh, well, you get put through the shredder that is the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to give you.
But I mean, you don't want beat up offensive line and have to face Montez Sweat and Chase Young.
Chase Young coming off coming into the game for the Niners is going to be interesting.
That will be kind of fun.
Huge play for the Bengals.
Boyd just wide open. That's about all I have. Buffalo
only has
number.
Buffalo with only one more timeout is pretty damn nice. I love that. How does that happen? Oh, you know why? Because Sean McDermott is a dink who did a really dumb challenge. That's why.
Kudos to the guys who bet Dallas minus 13.5 before that got bet up to like 16.
Do you think that matters? You think those 3 points are in play?
No, but it's good to get a better number than not.
I guess. Yeah.
I just, some people in the Discord are like, I'm betting this now because why isn't this 17? Yep.
Okay.
I don't know who they'll start, but it is I wouldn't want to play Dallas next week either way.
No, it's a bad week to draw Dallas. Although, you never know. I don't know, man. I don't know what to make of that team. They're front running bullies, though, so they should just literally 40. Do you think they try to win 40-0 again? Like they try to put 2 40-0 wins on their resume?
Do you have any takes on the total Washington Seattle?
I will be 100% honest with you. Other than the random team totals we've been trying to shoot for and the second half totals, I'm out of the total market.
They're not easy.
I'm out. I made a total
look
bet.
Ahead on that was 44.5. That's close.
I think Seattle can win that one ugly, but cover the 6.5. Like I think you're looking at like a 24-13 kind of game. So it's probably under for me if I had to say so. Sam Howell against because like think about what Seattle, how they solved their defensive problems against the Giants, where they just were like, all right, let's blitz and really wreck this guy's day. You do that against Sam Howell, he's going to have a couple of picks and 6 sacks, and you're going to win. You're going to hold them to under 15 points. So
yeah,
I think Seattle is the side there, and it's probably under.
You're gonna have to
31-17 is also fine too.
You're gonna have to keep selling me on Seattle. I'm not quite there. I'm right there with the 6.5. I'm gonna need to track some injury stuff on both those, but yeah,
it's as simple as this, Andy.
Baltimore again right now.
Do the Commanders have the personnel to run man coverage against the wide receiving core for Seattle? The answer is no.
Yeah, they don't have the secondary. I'm super happy with anyway.
Yeah. They are going to get this is a get right for Seattle, I think.
Good. All right.
Yep. Nice.
I think that's all I got.
Well, let's hope that this second half under gets there.
What are we sitting on? We're sitting on 16.
I bet 25.5. And
so there's been 14 points.
Yes.
Yeah, we're fine. I was going to say, you had me scared. Like, did I miss a touchdown?
Well, I mean, a jailbreak here for Bengals, and then the Bills getting some garbage time points.
It's fun when you have an under and you have to start thinking about the worst case. Like, well, what if there's a 99-yard run on this play, Dandy? I mean, I would go jailbreak here, though.
What if there's a kickoff return after the Bengals
what if it's back-to-back kickoff returns?
I think you want to know how many points were scored at the end of that Bills Jaguars game in the last 4 minutes of that one? There was a lot. There was a lot, man.
These things do happen. All right.
Yeah. All right. Let's wrap it up. Good show.
Call it a night. Thanks a lot. Hit the thumbs up.
I'm sure I'm in the green after this Bengals cover comes through. If you had the Bills,
I picked on Dak.
Yeah, if you had the Bills, I think you just got the ball bounced away from you. You ran into a white hot Joe Burrow. I don't know what else to tell you. You have any takeaways from this game?
I was a little scared to, get too involved with the Bengals. I want to buy high on the market with
because of why?
The Bills team has been hard for me to solve, because we've seen really good performances from this Bills offense, but then you've seen it where we're just gonna get the scripted and that's it, and then you're gonna suck. I wasn't super sure what we'd get from the Bills.
Yeah, big first down conversion here would be nice.
Huge. I got it. I'm ahead of you.
Yeah. Although stay in bounds, Mixon. What are we doing? Doesn't matter, right? They kneel. So this is over.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
That's it. No timeouts. Call it a game. Second.
Want it like we put a bow on the Atlanta Falcons season?
Mixon hit that sideline like an Oklahoma co-ed. It's a crime.
I shouldn't be laughing at it.
No, you can't laugh. He hit somebody.
My God, you're an animal.